Him died on the cross
I died on the cross,
and then was buried and raised after 3 days?
buried and raised after 3 days.
Okay. Well, let's say suppose I get crucified right now and then I die
Yeah,
and then I get, you guys bury me
yeah,
and then 3 days later I
Yes.
rise up.
yeah.
Should I say I'm God?
Well, I can promise you, sir, if you die and rise from the dead, I will listen very closely to everything you have to say.
Yeah, a lot of people will do, but does that entitle me to, let's say God, okay, you believe that God is capable of anything?
No, God cannot do anything. God
Oh.
cannot make a square circle. God cannot make 2 + 2 = 5.
So God is not perfect?
God is perfect only in a moral sense. God is not perfect in the sense that he's a computer that spits out perfect computer printouts called human beings who never err, who never sin.
So God cannot make me die and rise in 3 days?
Yeah, God can raise you to life.
Okay, so let's say if God decided now I get crucified and then I die and I get, and I'm buried and then 3 days later God decides to bring me back to life. Does that make me God?
No, it doesn't make you God. But if you claim to be God in human form after you rise from the dead, I will listen very closely to what you have to say.
Even though God who was the one who made me, go through all this process.
Yeah. And I'm sure that if you're that close to God, that he raises you back to life after 3 days, that if you're not God, you're not going to claim to be. You wouldn't lie. But I can promise you, if you die and rise from the dead, I'm going to listen very closely to everything you have to say. Because the evidence is you're amazing.
Yeah, amazing, true. But does that make me God?
No, that's right. But Jesus claimed to be God in human form, and then he backed it up with a sinless life, amazing teachings, a death where he forgives his enemies, but most importantly, a resurrection from the dead. That validates his claim. I mean, I didn't claim that Jesus is God. It wasn't Constantine who made that up. Jesus himself claimed to be God. And then he dies and rises from the dead. That's important evidence that he's not blowing smoke, he's speaking the truth.
But in every historical record, there are aspects to those historical records that are not accurate. You cannot say that every single historical record is 100% accurate.
I agree.
So, and you're speaking about the witnesses as if it's like, as if you have 100% accurate account of those witnesses individual by individual, which I assume you don't. All your evidence is based on the script.